Welcome back to the Top 6 show. It's Monday, the 7th of July. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. And you've got the bell notification turned on. Loads to go through today. The panel and I will be discussing Gyokeres to Arsenal. £56 million done deal is what the reports from Portugal are stating. And they have been ahead of the game this whole way, if we're being absolutely honest. Plus, though, we're talking Madueke, reports from Simon Phillips that there is only a £10 million differential now in the valuation between Arsenal and Chelsea. We're taking a look at Liverpool as the German press are reporting that Luis Diaz has told Bayern Munich he wants to leave Liverpool and join them in Germany this summer. Plus, Victor Osimhen has reportedly rejected a move to Manchester United. What do we do next on a striker front? We want to hear from you all in the comments section while we're live. Get your comments in. Of course, we always prioritize our super chats. Thank you so much to everyone in advance for doing them. Of course, our members as well. Brilliant panel for you tonight with Tom Little, Henry Wright, and David. We've also got a couple of other gents joining us as well. They're not here. I'm not too sure where they are right now, but a couple of lads joining us from the Tap In podcast as well on the show. Maybe KJ didn't send the link. I don't know. I didn't arrange it. But gentlemen, how are you all? You all well and good? Healthy?
All good.
All right, yeah.
And how are you, Tom? Obviously, a very, very tough 4 or 5 days, I think, for everybody in football, but for especially Liverpool supporters like yourself.
Yeah, it's been mad. You know, it puts into perspective that football, you know, that saying from Arrigo Sacchi, football's the most important of the least important things in life. You know, I never knew him personally, and yet it felt like I lost someone very close to me. And it's only when you sit there and think about it that you realise just how much time you spend thinking about these people, watching these people, consuming content related to these people, and you feel like you do get to know them. It's been, you know, I'm glad that the club are doing certain things. I'm glad that, you know, we've had the chance to pay our respects. I've been down to Anfield to the memorial that we've got outside. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful what we've got going. And he'll be forever missed. And, you know, it still probably hasn't sunk in for me yet, I don't think. I think it'll only really properly sink in for me that first game when I see all our players there and he's not there, and I see all the tributes and I see, you know, how our players are reacting to it, because I think that's when it'll really sink in for me. But it's devastating news, and, you know, I just hope him and his brother rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And yeah, there's going to be loads of little moments, I think, for Liverpool supporters. And we were talking backstage about, you know, how hard these kind of things are to compute. And of course, nobody is ever going to put themselves and their feelings above that of his wife, his children, mother, who of course lost 2 children on that day. But football is an important thing to us. It's an important part of our communities. It's an important part of our lives. A lot of us schedule our entire weekends around watching our teams, and especially people in the not the YouTubers. I don't mean us specifically. I'm talking the viewers, people that are like online fans. We all consume football I would say, throughout every waking hour of the day. We're all checking our phones. We're in the group chats. We're streaming live. We're doing something of some sort. Do you know what I mean? David probably says he isn't, but he's in the group chat all the time nowadays. Do you know what I mean? Now that uni's broke up. So it's an important thing to us, and brilliant words from yourself, mate. It really is. Probably the cheer. By the way, I want to say a big thank you to Ricky Lester for becoming a member. I also want to thank Tim Howard as well. Not Tom Howard, sorry. I thought of the Man United, ex-Man United and Everton goalkeeper there when I first saw that name. To cheer you all up, though, right? Reportedly, Man United have been rejected by Victor Osimhen. Reportedly, we made an approach for him. He was actually the number 1 target. We asked him to take a pay cut to join us, and he's refused to stay in Turkey. That being the sort of base of the story, what do you think Man United should do now that Gyokeres isn't going to come? Seemingly, Osimhen is going to go back to Galatasaray, or still maybe go to Saudi, because they're still in for him, according to Fabrizio. But United aren't getting that done. There's Ollie Watkins links. There was loose links 4 or 5 weeks ago to Mateta. Of course, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been offered to us. That is an option for us, I suppose. But what do you think United are going to do after this latest striker setback?
I mean,
Right.
what have you got? Rasmus season 3?
It's kind of long for you guys. I can't lie.
Surely you're not going to take
Dominic?
Calvert-Lewin. I can't remember who the guy is from Stratford. Is it Stratford Paddock? The guy who's lost a lot of weight.
Steve Howson.
I was watching him earlier, 360 TV on Instagram, put up a clip from him, and he was basically saying something along the lines of, from a financial standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for Man United to take Dominic Calvert-Lewin because they don't have anyone in the air, in the box who can be a threat, and no one who can really hold the ball up. And Man United have basically spunked so much money up the wall, in so many years. It makes sense for Man United to take Calvert-Lewin. But you can't be lining up next season potentially with Rasmus, Xerxes, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's had one good year in the Premier League where he's got double digits. You need more of a goal threat. I think the striker that United should go for is Ollie Watkins, personally. But again, from a financial standpoint, I said this the other day, this is his last big move in his career, and he's 29, 30 years of age. He's going to want a 3 or 4 year deal. If it's at a cut price, 35, 40 million, it makes sense. But you can't be paying 60 million.
Is he not a free? Is he not a free agent?
No, it's all about. Sorry, I moved on to Ollie Watkins. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I misheard. Sorry.
Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a free agent. He's obviously no longer at Everton. But the striker I think United should go for is Ollie Watkins. If you can't get Ollie Watkins, I don't think you're going to pay the 90 million euro clause for Sesko. Gyokeres obviously wants Arsenal. Osimhen's rejected. I mean, would you? I'm genuinely not even taking the piss here. Would you take Richarlison?
Oh God. Oh
no, honestly,
what the man who can't stay fit?
No, but like you're looking at options right now. I'm like, if the right money coming for Dominic Solanke, I'd say right, take him, and we'll look elsewhere.
Whoa.
I know you've got this weird fetish over Solanke, but
let's calm ourselves down with Dom. First of all, the whole United Osimhen thing, I didn't actually realise how deep it was. So you finished 15th. You don't have Champions League football. He's made very clear this whole time he wants Champions League football, but you go in for an approach. So you're going to need to wow him. You're going to need to offer him more. And you go into that approach and go, take less money. I know they're offering you more, take less to come join us in 15th. Why on earth would he accept that? Why on earth would you walk into that room thinking you're going to strike a deal on that front? In terms of strikers that are available,
what about Jackson?
Again, why would Jackson leave Chelsea to go to United?
They've got Delap. They've got other wide players that can play in a false nine. They've also brought in Pedro.
So they have Delap, who can challenge him for a spot, and Joao Pedro, who once everyone sees him playing, will realise that he's not a striker. So he's still going to get a lot of football at Chelsea. We need to understand where United are, Henry. United, you mentioned Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins is starting week in, week out for Aston Villa because they've now no longer got Rashford. Why would he go and leave that?
They'll offer him a lot more money than he's on now. Obviously, playing for Man United is a much bigger football club than Villa. Right, and as I said, this is his last big move. So if Watkins is going to join Man United, he's probably going to want to pin down minimum of a 4-year contract. So financially, in the short term,
it's not that big move that you think it is, though. It's not like he's making that step to the regular European football, to the title. He's getting at Aston Villa regular European football at the minute as a starting number 9 at a club that love him because he's been there since 2020. And Aston Villa could probably offer him a new deal on some good money. I'm not saying, 250 grand a week, but I'm saying some good money for a club of Aston Villa size, making him the highest paid player, etc. And with European football, that's a good amount of money. I don't see why he would take not a sideways step, because a sideways step would be a Chelsea. A sideways step would be, in fact, Tottenham's still a slight backward step. We're talking about a major backward step here to join a Manchester United team who are probably 2 years away from getting to the situation Villa are in right now. The strikers that Manchester United can attract.
What about Mateta?
Again, maybe a Mateta, maybe the Palace situation changes, and maybe it's a case of, look, they're not in European football, so I've got no reason to stay. But I think if Palace are in Europa League next year, I think Mateta will want to do a year with them in the Europa League. I think the market for Manchester United strikers is the mid-end European. So you're looking at who could we grab from the Portuguese league that's not the best one they've got? Who could we grab from the Eredivisie that's not the best one that they've got? Who could we get from a Europa League side in Italy or France? Because they're the players who would actually come in with the correct mentality. I'm sorry, United are a big club, but if I was to see a player who has got regular Champions League football at the minute come in to Manchester United this summer, I would sit there and go, you've not come in for success. You've come in because Manchester United are desperate and I'm paying you a lot of money.
This is the thing for me, though. KJ said this earlier, and I stand by it. If we can only bring in Dominic Calvert-Lewin on a short-term pay-as-you-play contract, if we signed another striker, so had we signed Gyokeres and we went, we're also going to bring him in pay-as-you-play backup, I'm not jumping for joy, but I'm not angry about it. But if all we can land is Calvert-Lewin, if all we could land is Richarlison, if all we could land is Bob Nobody from the era D I don't fucking watch it league, right? If that's all we can do, spend that money on a better player for midfield, spend that money on a player, on a new goalkeeper. I would rather not buy a new striker and stick with what we've got than waste the money. And the reason why I say that is because, one, the right profile should be the priority for Manchester United, because we have bought so many of the wrong players in the past. I don't even know how many years, past 12 to 13 years, we have bought so many players that were wrong. Equally, we waste money. We overspend often and we end up wasting money. So we often overpay for players. And I don't care if it's by 10 million here, 5 million there. You know, we're looking at getting 15 million off of the asking price of Mbeumo. And some people at 15%, sorry, people are like, so 15%, just pay it. No, because we have spent somewhere in the region of 1.68 billion pounds on players since Sir Alex Ferguson left. And had we actually negotiated properly and saved 15% on average across all those deals, we could have 250 million pounds in the bank account right now, meaning we wouldn't have this financial issue that we're facing. So for me, I'm not going to yield from something I've been screaming for over a decade. Buy the right profiles to get them at the right price. And the names you guys have mentioned, look, banter aside, I get it's funny to look. I'd rather not sign any of them. I'd rather us focus and go, do you know what? We'll take that 40 million that we've got for a striker, and we've already got a bit of money for a goal. Let's go and get the best goalkeeper money can buy that's available. Let's go and look at two midfielders that are highly press resistant and athletic. Actually, we've got 35, 40 million from midfield already. Let's take that striker money and let's go and buy, for example, Belieber and really improve the midfield. With Bruno Fernandes staying, Ahmad in the team, Cunha and Mbeumo, we've got some goals. Are we going to have the best strike force in the league? No, but I'd rather do that personally than a Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Then, you know, Ollie Watkins, I think Ollie Watkins, Mateta level and above, I think improves our front line. But from my perspective, you're looking at Calvert-Lewins and these guys, yeah, it's a massive. That'll be the first, that'll be the big indicator this summer, the first red flag for me where I go, yeah, that would make me lose a lot of faith in this rebuild. And I've said all along that I get called out a lot for not being angry enough, but what I don't get any praise for is not losing my mind when things go wrong either, or getting overly carried away when things go right. So I don't get too carried away when we do a good signing or have a good run of form or win a big game or we appoint someone. I say, well done. Equally, I'm not losing my mind because I knew this was a 3 to 4 year process. But if we signed Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I had a good think about it today. That is a massive red flag that tells me personally, yeah, these guys don't know what they're doing. And I'll get stick for saying that. Oh, I've always known they didn't know what they were doing. That's great. Well done. I'll get you a certificate. Brilliant. Give it to your mum, put it on the fridge. She'll say she's proud of her 40-year-old that lives at home. Well done. Like, it's that's the thing for me. It's if you need praise like that means you've got mummy problems. But for me, like, we can't do this. I would be almost, if we put a big budget behind this striker, you know, if we put Dominic Calvert-Lewin 120 grand a week, gave him the number 9 shirt, I think Ruben Amorim should quit his job. I think he should walk away. I'm just putting it out there.
Calvert-Lewin in a red 9. I will be there. I will be there.
I don't think people truly understand how bad Calvert-Lewin has been since 2021.
No, he's been terrible. The only thing he can do is head a ball. So I guess in the 80th minute, bringing him on because he's on 30k a week for 2 years. I don't hate it. But again, if that's the only guy you bring in, then you should throw your club in the bin.
Do you understand how stupid that is, David? You're basically saying that they're going to buy a different version of Harry Maguire, because that's what they do with Harry Maguire now. When they need a guy to go from win some knockdowns in the last 10 minutes into Maguire, so they now just want to buy someone to do Maguire's of the job.
You can't call up Calvert-Lewin and say, "Oh, let's play some football." That doesn't. What?
No, I agree.
Put yourself in the box and just.
No, I agree. I agree. Look, Anthony here says, Terry, Dominic Calvert-Lewin shows how much trouble United are in. Now, what I will say is this: I'm answering the questions. What if we got him? Let's be fair about the reports here, because if this was a positive signing for Man United, and I don't know which newspaper said that we were looking at him, whoever it was that said we were looking at him. If it was the other way around, then it was a really positive signing, and then Fabrizio turned around and went, yeah, well, there's not much in it really. The player's been offered to loads of clubs. You would all turn around and go, Fabrizio has shut it down. So let's be fair. What Fabrizio has reported is that Calvert-Lewin has been offered to us. What he and no other top journalist has said yet is that Man United are actively pursuing it, trying to convince him as an example. Maybe it's an option. I don't know what that option would be. We have to wait and see. Lou here says, I'd rather give them a chance to get it right than judge them before anything has happened. Judge them on their actions, not our fears. That's spot on. Well, this is a lot. That's my view as well, Lou. And there's a lot of debate around this at the minute. The certain groups of United fans, they do it the other way, and that's fine. They're entitled to do that. I'll have a laugh and a joke with some of my friends that do it. But for me, I'm going to wait. But if they do sign Calvert-Lewin, he's on a big deal, 3-year contract. I am going to judge that as an example. But equally, like I said before, I'm not going to overly lose my mind, because I saw a lot of Arsenal fans get their bum cracks out on Saturday with the Madueke thing. Literally, their pictures of their bum cracks are now on the internet forever. Just for 12 hours later, for them to be getting out their boy and banging one out, going, oh my God, Berta Magic, whee! And listen, it's fair if that's how you want to behave. I have no qualms with it on a man-to-man level. Just on a personal level, I don't want to be that person that, today the world's ending, tomorrow I'm in paradise. That's just not my way personally. So yeah, I agree with you, Lou, on that 100%. I would go for Mateta. Look, Mateta's potentially an option, but what Tom said earlier on is right. Currently, he has stated he wants to have a year in Europe with Palace, because he's essentially saying they took the risk on me. They stuck with me when I weren't playing well. We've done something historic. I want to stay. But there's still this weird outside chance they might not get in, which would be heartbreaking. If that happens, I think it changes the scenario. But I like Mateta. Again, Mateta would be a striker where I'd be happy. Just be patient. It will soon be August. Well, this is the thing. There's a time for patience. I said it before. I'm not going to yield from my previous point. No one has broke down this analogy and told me how it's wrong. As we get closer to the preseason, and we know this week is important at preseason, but not massive. Why? It's predominantly tests and fitness tests and everything else. There's no real major training that goes on. A lot of players are not even back this week, right? So it's not the most important week. It starts next week. But patience can remain. Like I said before, if I start work at 10 a.m., and it's an hour's journey to get to work, Maradon. And Maradon, do me a favor and answer me this question. Don't deflect. Just answer it directly, please, if you would be so kind, sir. If I've got to be at work at 10 a.m. and it's an hour's drive, people are saying to me leaving at 9 o'clock is risky. I agree. Leaving it that close is risky. Even maybe 8:30. Some people might say, look, a little accident here, a bit of traffic. You might still be late for your job. Cool. But I think leaving between 8 and 8:30 is sensible. What some Man United fans have been doing, they've been telling us to leave for work at 5 a.m. all summer. Leave at 5 a.m., you're definitely early. And for me, that's been an exaggeration. I just feel that some people have been panicking and angry from day one. They may end up turning out being right. Look, it wasn't a good summer. Didn't I tell you? You did. Well done. And that's fine for you to behave that way. For me, you're never going to get me to spend 3 months of my life, whether it's personal life, football, panicking, worrying, moaning every day about something that hasn't happened yet. I'm very aware it might go wrong. Absolutely. But I'm just never going to, when I'm saying be patient, I'm just giving out almost like advice. And if people don't have to take it, you do you, bruv. If you want to be angry and pumped up and every day, that's on you. I kind of bide my time before doing that. That's just me. But yeah, as I say, leaving at 5 a.m. in the morning to get to work for 10 for an hour's drive is excessive. There are some Man United fans, and I've seen them. I've been asking them the last few days on Twitter. They expected 4 or 5 signings by now, 4 or 5 major exits by now. Again, you're entitled to put that in as your standard. I think that's ridiculous because no club's done that ever. And then their response has been quite clever. It's, yeah, but we're so far behind, we have to behave that way. So we have to behave in a way that none of the best clubs in the world at any stage have ever been able to do, right? Sell at the right price and buy at the right price, that many players that early, just because we're behind now. That doesn't make any sense. All the teams that are currently at the top of the league that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago weren't, none of them turned it around with one good summer. It was a 3 or 4 year process of building a squad. So that's on you guys. You guys can do you, man. You guys can do you. Man United should go for Richarlison. He is definitely better than Højlund. He will score more goals as you have Cunha, and you'll have a better team. I'd save the money and buy someone else in another position personally. What about Ivan Toney? Sorry, go on, Henry.
Can't you raise still quite a lot of money when you look at Garnacho and Rashford both? Well, that's both 100% profitable.
That's also the element of don't panic. And again, when I say don't panic, I just mean I'm not going to show my bum, because Sancho looks like he might leave soon. I'm not getting the old bum cheeks out.
Yeah, Sancho as well.
Like, so Sancho might be leaving. I think that this is the one thing slowing us down. We've known this all along, is we've got to sell players. And this is where I'm being patient before judging. And people can think I'm wrong for this. They can think I'm right for it. I don't need the validation, really. It's this for me. We had the opportunity to get rid of a lot of these players 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But it would have been on the players and the buying club's terms, which meant we would have made barely any profit or lost money on the sales, meaning there's nothing to then invest in new players. So I would still rather the club stay patient, the club stay strong and resolute, and do our best to raise money for the sale of these players, even if it's 2 to 3 weeks into preseason, and then we can actually buy people. The only offers we've had so far have been us losing money. The idea of accepting them is crazy. Now, some will say we need better people at selling. We are selling the players, by the way, that the people panicking have told us all for 2-3 years are dog shit and not worth the money. That's where I find it hard to converse with certain individuals, because everything is kind of oxymoronic and highly contradictory. For instance, I saw this tweet earlier on today, and I'm going to go throw over to you guys. I saw this tweet earlier on today, and I just thought, how brilliant does this sum up sort of the Man United fan base when it comes to transfers? And I know we're frustrated in this PTSD, but this is what it said. 2003 to 2004, why do we keep signing our managers' ex-players? Why are we paying so much money for new signings? We must negotiate to get better deals. Would you say that's a fair reflection of what Man United fans were saying back then?
Yeah.
Especially Tom and Henry and Dave, you were on the show. Were they saying that?
Yeah.
Why are we buying the managers' ex-players? Why are we paying too much money for players? Yeah. Now what they're saying is, why haven't we signed any of our ex-managers' players? Why are we negotiating for new signings? Pay them what they want.
And why are you getting rejected as well?
Well, yeah, and why are we getting bid rejected? Well, because we're doing the things that you ask for. And that's the thing for me. This was always going to be painful. And it's why, though, Hassan, I want to big up Hassan for being right about this. And I think Mo said it too. I think Tom's someone who said this. Man United, have we got a fan base that is willing to go through the pain and patience required to get back to the top? This was never going to be easy on any level. But seemingly, that's too positive, and I'm a top red for saying that. But there we go. That's just me. By the way, welcome to DA and KM for joining us on the show, boys. Good to have you back on here today. This here says, not that I want United to improve at all, but maybe the move is to treat Rashford better and go with him and Rasmus at 9 this season. If Amorim created Gyokeres, could do it again with Rasmus. I don't think you can do it again with Rasmus. I think Rasmus, Ronan, good super chat. I don't think it's about treating Rashford better either. I think this narrative is ridiculous. I'm a massive fan of Rashford. Never attacked him on a personal level. Love the guy to bits. Protected him so much as a person with all the shit he's been through in the last decade. However, this idea that we shouldn't have taken his 10 shirt. This is the man that ever before Amorim joined, him and his agent were looking for new clubs. Go back to the Ralph Rangnick period where he was on the bench and what he was doing. Been looking for a new club for a long time. Has said in 2 or 3 public interviews that he wants a new challenge and wants to try somewhere else. He's openly, since he joined Aston Villa, even when he joined Aston Villa, he basically said, this is like a stopgap. I want to move to a big club in the summer. It's not about us mistreating him. The relationship is broken down. He doesn't want to be at the club. The manager doesn't want, and the club doesn't want a player that doesn't want to be here. So he has to be moved on. For me, I just don't believe there'll be a resolution. I hear what you're saying. One, Rasmus is not going to become Gyokeres, and no, with the Rashford thing for me. How much does United's final league position change if they get Watkins versus if they get Osimhen? I think mid-table this season, regardless. What do you boys think? I'll throw that to KM. If United were to sign Ollie Watkins versus signing Osimhen, how much difference would that make to United's season, in your personal opinion? It's good super chat.
I don't know how much, but I think it depends on the players they get in behind. I think seeing Watkins, his link-up play is better than Osimhen. I think Osimhen is more of a threat in the box. So if you have, let's say, Acuna and Mbuero, Fernandez, I know Amarin doesn't overly like playing with wingers. He has the wing backs as well, and if he has the two in behind the striker, it depends what it looks like. If you can finally get the money over the line with Mbuemo, it feels like you lot have been bidding the same price for like 2 weeks and there's been no kind of resolution. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I think the Prem experience with Watkins comes into play, and like Henry kind of mentioned the outgoings. Obviously, there'll be no Sancho, no Rashford, no Garnacho. It's a lot of wingers. Anthony doesn't want to come back. So a lot of the wingers that is maybe given that quote-unquote service to Osimhen may not be there. I think Watkins, with currently your state of play where it looks like your team will look like in kind of August, September, I think Watkins may make the difference, but it's not a lot. I don't think there's a grave difference depending on the wages Osimhen wants. It's always reported that it's exuberant amount, which is why he's not been able to kind of get the move that a lot of people touted for the last few windows. So I'd say go Watkins, but I don't know how much of a stopgap that is. There's obviously a lot of bigger issues rather than just at the front of the pitch for United.
Yeah, listen, I agree with that. Who will have the best front line next season? We'll come back to this super chat later when we're talking more about those front lines, but we'll keep that one starred. United need to promote from the academy, CFC under Lampard. I mean, that's an option for us, but you should only promote when they're ready, because you start rushing these youngsters through, you'll burn them. You need them to be ready. So let's see over pre-season what they look like. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to make me switch teams. Maybe. But there we go. Some breaking news that has just come out now, gentlemen, from the, I'm going to make sure I get the newspaper, The Independent. And that is that Eze is set to leave Crystal Palace this summer. His preference is Arsenal. It says here that Arsenal are now seeking a structured deal that would enable them to buy Eze without the need of a big sale this summer. What you saying, DA?
It sounds good. I think Eze is someone that we need. We've had a lack of creativity in the last 12 months. Odegaard's form has dipped, and I think he'll bring so much. I think he's creative. He knows the Prem and can play in several positions. I think he's a perfect signing, and if we need to get this one over the line, if we're doing Madueke, we have to do Eze. That's the only thing that can soften the blow if we sign Madueke as well.
Just leave Eze at Palace. Let him just let the other team from North London come in and get him. You don't need Eze. You can have Madueke.
He's 27 now. This is probably the last chance he gets for a big move, and like he doesn't want to go to Spurs. Like they're European champions. He still doesn't want to go. But yeah, this is a perfect time for him to get that big move, and I think we should pay whatever Palace want. I'll be real. If they want six, I think they want 65, 68.
68 is a buyout clause. Yeah.
I think it's something like 3 installments of 20 mil. But question: how much game time do you actually think he's going to get?
I think he'll get quite a lot. I think because he's versatile, he can play on the left. Odegaard, I'm someone that thinks he shouldn't be playing every minute of every game, even though he's captain. Like they could be used together, and he could be an alternative to Odegaard. I think he can play, and he can play as a 10. I think there's so many different positions he can play, and he can play them to a good standard. You see the positions he's picking up for Palace, the work he put in the last 6 months of last season. Shows that he's a player that can step up in the big moments, and we need more players like that. We need Mavericks in the team. We're lacking in that department, and I think he'll be a great signing for us.
Do you think Arteta like
their 3 most recent attacking signings? I think Eze is the best one, and I think comfortably the best one as well, because Odegaard right now is just not creative enough for him to be the only creator in the squad in that
Yeah.
position. So getting Eze gives Arsenal the option to maybe play both of them if you're playing a lower league squad that isn't really going to attack you. But also if Odegaard's having a down moment, you can have Eze in there as well. So to me, that's a very good, astute signing. That's well
Do you
done
think he
by
actually drops Odegaard though? Like he is the captain, and when he only really gave Wanjeri game time when Odegaard or Saka was injured. Like when he was available, I know obviously Wanjeri and Eze are different players, but when they was available, you didn't really see him play much, and Odegaard was just still there. I think if Eze is going to come in, I think he'll. And the Madueke one's interesting because if you sign both of them, then like I'm looking at Wanjeri going, I don't know where you're going to play, and I think Eze, I don't think he's going to get as much game time as maybe you guys make out, but
Yeah.
it's definitely improves your squad 100%.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think maybe Arteta's learned from his mistakes in regards to Odegaard. Like there was times last season he shouldn't have been on the pitch. Like I know he's your captain, but if you're not playing to a certain standard, you shouldn't be playing. And we have no senior alternative to Odegaard. The only person is Wanjeri, and I guess that's it. Last season was his first real season of professional football. We know he's a great talent, but maybe he wasn't doing certain things that Arteta wanted, or maybe Arteta was protecting him. But I still think he played a lot of games, played a lot of minutes, contributed very well. But I think these are good problems to have. I would rather have too much attacking talent than not enough. So I'm not worried about Wanjeri. He's still only 18. He doesn't have to be a full-on starter at 18. I know the talent he has, and he will break through eventually, and he will be a starter for whoever. If it's not at Arsenal, I pray it is, but I think I'm not really worried about his game time. These are good problems to have, and I don't think we've had a lot of good attacking options in the last couple of years. Like Arteta's only bought Jesus and Havertz and Trossard since he's been here, and he's inherited Saka, he's inherited Smith Rowe, Martinelli. So we need to see how he does integrating new attacking players and see how they do, because it looks like last season we ran out of ideas. We were just Saka and hope, basically.
To be fair, I do remember when you signed Jesus, and he was apparently the best things in sliced bread. So we will see what happens when you incorporate these new attackers in. Because I'm just saying, because again, what I love about these signings for Arsenal is that there can be no more excuses. I'm tired. Again, for me, I've said it. 3 teams next season must win the league. However, only one of them can. So 2 of them are going to be left disappointed. So Arsenal, you might be disappointed.
Do you think it's a 3-horse race?
I think it's a 3-horse race. I think
it's City and Arsenal.
I think it's Liverpool.
Liverpool, Arsenal.
I think it's Liverpool, Arsenal, and City.
Liverpool, Arsenal, yeah. City will
Chelsea are there. You don't think Chelsea are there?
No,
yet?
I don't think so. Not yet. Well, I think we could.
Should they be there yet?
No, I don't think so.
Chelsea aren't planning on being there till 2027.
We're not exactly. I don't think our signings aren't saying we're going for the title next year. Yours are. I'm looking at your signings going, you guys think you're going to be right there at the end of the line. You think I'm signing Jamie Gittins to be at the end of the line this season?
No, but that's a very good player. Champions League experience.
João Pedro as well.
I'm signing João Pedro to be there at the end of the season.
João Pedro is a good signing.
João Pedro is not this good signing that people are making out. He scored 5 goals that weren't pens. He scored 5 goals that weren't pens.
He's still a good player.
Tom, I was with you, and then I saw him play that last game, and it's got
mate, he's just one of them.
He reminds me of Gabriel Jesus.
Your club has a fetish for these type of players, these like 9.5, 10.5s. Are they a striker? Are they a 10? He can do a job out wide. Your Nkunkus, your Felixes, your Havertzes. They all play the same role. They all play the same way, and they all look technically sound and have a couple of nice moments. But then when you actually get into the season and teams figure it out, you're sitting there going, wow, you're wank. You do not help this team out much here. You are not helping us out at all. And you'll go back to playing the big number 9 because it works better with Cole Palmer. And you'll go back to playing the wide plays. You can get the ball to the big man up front. How does João Pedro work in this team when the team is built around a creative number 10? when all João Pedro wants to do is drop in to the same positions as the creative number 10. And you showed last season that the creative number 10 has real problems when there's not a striker in the box. Because when you had that run where Jackson was injured and Gui, whatever his name is, was injured, and you were playing Pedro Neto up front, you could not create niche. So if we're doing this again, but you've just spent 60 million quid to do it, I'm not exactly sitting there going, oh, I'm worried about Chelsea next year. We don't even know if the manager's talking about it, because we know he's got a weird thing for going, we're not in a title race. So I don't know if he's allowed to talk about it here.
What do you make of this, though, from Shane? Shane says Chelsea's spend says you should challenge. You're nodding your head to that, DA.
I think they spent like in the last couple of years, I don't know, maybe like £1 billion. I don't know the exact figure, but Maresca inherited a team that was bought for a lot, and now he's spending a lot. So how many years do we have to wait? Because I know Arteta, by the third season, they were saying, "Oh, he should be winning the league." When are we going to say that for Chelsea? How many more years are we going to wait? Just because they keep buying 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds or false nines, or they're waiting for the striker. When can we hold them to the same standards they like to hold other clubs to?
You can hold my club to the standard this season. That's fine. I'm not.
Point, right?
If there's one thing people have learned from last season, my opinion will not change based on what other people say to me. Because I said we weren't in the title challenge when we were sat in second with one win to go into first. So
how many signings is it going to take before you say, okay, Chelsea?
It's not to me. It's not about the signings. To me, it's about the profile of the squad. I'm looking at the squad right now, going, I don't think our owners think it's ready to go into the next stage.
So what's it lacking?
No. I think when the squad's ready, we will change and we will go sign a 25-year-old, a 26-year-old who's just literally like plug and play, and then we go. But as I'm looking at my signings right now, I don't think we believe that we're there, because Jamie Gittins is not a player that you sign to go and compete next season. That was my biggest beef with Arsenal and Sesko. I think Sesko is going to be one of the best strikers in the world in a couple of years. But to sign him this season to help you win a league doesn't make any sense, because your objective is to win the league next season, not in 3 years. So you cannot wait for that progression of Sesko, because otherwise you're all going to call him a flop after a year.
Funny with Chelsea, when it comes to Chelsea spending, it reminds me of the Drake song "All Me." You know, when he's like, I don't even know how much I really made. I forgot. It's a lot. That's kind of like Chelsea spending. It's just like that point where no one really knows how much is spent anymore. I can't say all those lyrics out loud because there's a word in there that I am not allowed to say. So I have to cut myself a little bit short. But look, I still think I'm judging Chelsea on their title challenge this year and trophies, of course. I know what David's saying, but for me, they've got to be pushing towards a title charge this season. Chelsea, 110%.
Terry, also remember,
110%. You bought very good players as well. Very good players. I disagree with Tom. I think. So go on.
No, my point is that I have a different definition of title charge, because by some people's standards, we did have a title charge last season, but we just flopped really early.
No, that was a title charge. Yeah.
No, but people were saying last season, you're in a title race, you're in one. Why are you scared to say it?
No,
but then we
at a point you could have been in one, but like going over the course of the season, it wasn't a title race.
No. But in my opinion, a title race is with 5 games to go, 6 games to go. You are within touching distance of top, and you should actually be there. If you're some team that's winning games 1-0, but you're conceding 20 shots on goal every single season, every single game, I don't think you're going to win the league, because I think eventually it's going to catch up to you. You've got to be one of the best teams defensively, one of the best teams going forward, and also you've got to be within touching distance. If not, I don't think you're in a league race. Because how many teams have been mid defensively and mid attacking wise and have kept their lucky streak going and have won the league? Maybe just Leicester.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But I still think you're going to sign a good goalkeeper. I still think you're going to add more to what you've already bought. I get the question marks over João Pedro, but I think Leon Delap is a far superior signing to what people are making out. I think Gittins is going to surprise a lot of people. And as I've said, I don't think you're done. You know, you're only the way as well. Like, I found it so interesting, the Club World Cup. Every time Chelsea win, the main headlines I see are nothing to do with how they played. It's all Chelsea have now won 63 million. That money's going to get spent, right? I think Chelsea are going to have a really good season next year. I don't think you'll win the league, but I think I think you're shoo-in for the top 4. An absolute shoo-in for the top 4, in my personal opinion. I think that Arsenal, especially after getting Gyokeres, and we'll get onto that a bit later in the show, but Arsenal, Liverpool, and City will be too good for you, but you'll be in the top 4. I think the top 4 is already set for me. Then there's very little being done by anybody else to challenge it.
Right, yeah, agreed. Chelsea, you're the 4th best team in the league. I just think you are quite some distance off the other 3. I think
you're just in that awkward middle ground where like you've got no one to race with.
Yeah.
I was going to say I think we might pick one of them to finish 3rd, but because I think one of those teams won't perform as well as they think they will, but we won't be there.
You're like an in-betweener. You're not one of the cool kids. You're not one of the geeks. You're an in-betweener. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. We might get invited to the party. We might not, but you never know.
Sorry, Dia, you're going to say something, bro?
I think I'm not really confident about our season. Like going into next season.
Not this again. No one's listening. Not this again.
There's no way you're trying. There's no way you're trying to lower expectations. There's no way Arsenal are trying to lower expectations.
Arsenal fans are delusional. This is my honest opinion. I'm not feeling that confident.
You got your Gyokeres now. You got your number 9 that you needed. Yeah.
You know that Portuguese league. You can't trust it. You know that Portuguese league.
No, you got your big body 9 that you were desperately needed last season. Physique, like big body bench. You never heard of that.
Big body is crazy.
You got your real number 9, like verified, performed Champions League hattie against City. So it's not just Portuguese league tactics. He's done it on the big stage now. Yeah. If you're getting an Eze in, obviously Zubimendi, you've got in early. If it is a case of I don't know, a Madueke is a Saka backup. I think people seeing it as he's not a star, he's a backup. If you line up with a Eze, a Gyokeres, and a Saka, then you got the 3 midfield with Rice.
Are you scared of that? Are you scared? As a Liverpool fan, are you scared?
That's not a bad lineup. That's not
hard. Are you scared? Yes or no?
I think arguably that City's top front. What's City's front 3? What?
Marmoush, Foden.
Eze, Gyokeres, and Saka's not comparable to that. Be real. It's not at all.
Nah.
No, it's
better. Yeah, it's better.
Same way you want to put Chelsea into that catapult them, you need to hold yourself accountable.
We should be challenging for the league. We should be winning the league, but I just don't think. I don't know. I've just got this feeling that we're not.
We can't keep letting them get away with it. I've been told. For years that they're one piece away. You've got all the pieces that you need potentially this summer, and you might even add Rodrigo on top of that. And you're going to tell me, "Oh, I don't know if we're ready yet." How are you not ready now? What are you waiting for?
No, the last 2 seasons, I've said, we're gonna win the league. It's just it comes to a point where I don't know, when you've tried to do something so many times, you come up short. You might just mentally it's taking a lot.
There's always been a reason why you come up short, but now you've addressed all the reasons. You didn't have a striker last year, which meant that a lot of games were getting away from you, especially these tight draws. You've now went in and got a guy who scored 100 goals in 2 years. Now, the concerns about whether he can translate his game are fine, but this is someone who scored 100 goals in 2 years. He might have a bit of an idea where the back of the net is. You're worried about creativity last year as well. Odegaard came back, he wasn't the same. So you go on and buy one of the most creative players in the Premier League in Eberechi Eze. You put him in there, problem fixed.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a race with Tottenham. I'm sorry, no player picks Tottenham over Arsenal. There's levels to this.
Russell, why is
it quietly?
Last year there was, or not necessarily last year because someone played last year, but before that there was a case of the DM depth wasn't necessarily always there. Now you went and bought one of the highest rated DMs in Europe for the past couple of years, so you've got him there who's also has a bit of creativity and a bit of quality control. You add all that together, any problem I heard Arsenal have that wasn't the sentence "he is injured" has been fixed. So there should be no reason why I'm not expecting Arsenal to take that jump.
The biggest problem might just be our manager then. It might just be who's in charge.
Maybe because what is it you're feeling? Like we're going to have a little bit of a Dr. Phil session here because you've just landed and the talk is it's 56 million for Gyokeres. I get the Portuguese league thing, right? I understand that. But this man is potent and he's dangerous. You've got a very good link into this Eze deal. Rodrigo is still a potential option. I do get that Madueke is a deal that no Arsenal fan wants. We're going to get into that because there's some details on it. However, that all being said, you've got Zubimendi that's come in. I think Norgard's a decent backup. You're looking at this young centre-back to come in who's a backup and one for the future. It's a pretty good summer. What after spending, and by the way, if you get all those players, you're spending between 200 to 300 million. What is it about that group of players coming into what you've already got? Is it the manager? Is it that you've got your hopes up before and been let down? And are you like, always got this image of a kid. Are you like that kid who's like, oh, I'm going out with my dad today. He's coming to get me. And then he just doesn't turn up. And you're just, sorry if that's real. I don't know. But I had a mate, my mate, Stephen, he's a tell us at school about how much he was excited to see his dad this weekend. And you always knew his dad didn't turn up because he was like wanting to get into a fight on a Monday at school. And I always felt bad for him as a kid. I was like, oh, this is terrible. His dad never turns up. Like, is that how you feel? Like you've been let down so many times before that you just can't get your hopes up anymore?
Yeah, it's a bit.
Like
it's a bit. It's a bit of that. It's a bit of PTSD. It's a bit of I've lost a bit of trust in Arteta. That's a big thing, and like the board and like certain signings, certain things that he does. I just don't know if we've got it in us anymore. Like the football that we've played over the last couple of years has deteriorated. So I don't know if I trust us to do what needs to be done this season, to produce in the big moments as well. I feel like we've come up close, and it's just not enough. We should have bagged at least one trophy in these 3 years that we've been somewhat good again, and we haven't. So I don't know if I've got that belief in this squad anymore as I did initially. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I think a lot of it is on Arteta. I think he's cost us in moments in the last couple seasons, and I don't know if he's the man to do it. I don't know if he's the man to get us over the line anymore.
If he's not, and you get Rodrigo, and you get Gyokeres, you get Eze, and you get Madueke, and you get all these players, if he doesn't get you over the line, what manager out there are you looking at?
You guys give me some options. I don't know. Inzaghi just gone to Al Hilal. Maybe we can try and get him back to.
Would you take Xavi?
I take him. He won the league with Barcelona in his first season. I'll take him.
Because other than that, I'm looking at a guy who's available.
It's scarce, but there's always going to be better out there. Like
he's not going to go anywhere.
He's staying with one girl just because she's safe, but there's always going to be someone better.
There's plenty more fish in the sea. I get that. Listen, I know I can't. I know we Jamie Carragher's now set this precedent that we can't tell any fan base how they should feel, and you as an individual are entitled to feel that way. But just my view on the outside looking in, you may be right. Arteta may not get you over the line, but I think it's win-win. I think if you end up landing the remainder of these targets for him, there is nowhere for him. I even think
there's no excuses. There's no
exactly.
excuses.
Even those Arsenal fans that would drink his sweat, like those guys, right? Even they won't be able to defend him if you land Eze, Gyokeres, Zubimendi, etc. There is just with all the team you've already got, there is almost nowhere to go. So I think that's the positive. And then if he does leave, the next manager's taken over a very, very, very good team. So from my point of view as an outsider, I think you're doing very, very good business. One of the other deals that I wanted to get, we'll go on to Madueke in a minute, but in terms of Gyokeres, David, how good a piece of business do you think this is? Around 56 million as the flat fee. There's around 10 million in add-ons. How good a piece of business do you think this is for Arsenal moving into next season?
I think... Sorry. Yeah, like for the last couple of years, everyone's saying...
Oh, is your name David as well?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I meant Chelsea. You answer it, but then we'll go to Chelsea, David, afterwards. I'll call you DA just so we don't differentiate there. Cool.
No, sorry. What, me go?
Yeah, you go.
You go on, bro.
I think we've needed a striker for a while now, and we've basically got the hottest striker in Europe the last 2 seasons. Like 100 goals in 2 seasons in any league is no small feat. So it looks like he's going to come in. Hopefully, obviously, he's going to be battling with Havertz. He's a different profile to Havertz, and it's a good problem to have. I think he'll score goals. I don't think it's going to be pretty to watch, but I think if we get him the ball in the box, he's got a good strike on him with both feet. I think he'll score goals.
If he scores goals for the price that they've got him at, I think it's a very good signing. However, the David Schwimmer assessment of this striker, I'm not very confident of him. I think he'll be good. I don't think he'll be great. I think he'll be a penalty taker probably as well. So if I take out the penalties, I think he scores somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 goals at an absolute max. But I am not confident in this man's ability and his transfer over to the Premier League. I'm really
Arsenal going to be playing like 50 games. You think Gyokeres is going to manage 1 in 5?
No. I'm talking about just in the Prem.
Right.
Purely Prem goals. I don't do this all
20 goals.
Sorry. I was typing the timestamp. How many goals?
Like 10 to 15 at an absolute max.
Without pens or
without pens?
Without pens.
So he can get 20 with pens.
No. I said he could be good. I don't think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to do so much more better that it's going to push you to win in the league.
How many goals?
Because I don't
in the Premier League season. How many goals in a Premier League season would you consider a great striker?
Oh, 20.
So he
can
quite easily hit that then, can't he? If he has 15 non-penalties.
If he scored between 15 or 20, that's not even that bad.
No, but I can't predict. If Arsenal get 10 penalties, and he scores all of them, then like, okay, cool, you got 20 goals. But I mean,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? But if they get 3 penalties and he's only got 10 goals, he's got 13 goals. Is that great? Not really. My point is, I can't predict how many penalties they're going to get. So
that's about the same amount of goals that Kai Havertz scores. You don't think he's going to be a better goal scorer than Kai Havertz?
I don't trust in the way he plays his football. I just don't see it. And I've been called crazy before with my striker takes. And if I'm wrong, I hold my hands up and say, and he gets 20, I hold my hands up, say, oh, I was wrong. But I'm just the goals I've seen him score, the compilations I've seen when he was linked to Chelsea, I was not moved. So
97 goals in 2 years, and you're not moved.
Yeah, but I've seen Bastos get 30 goals in the Portuguese.
You're getting pressed now as well. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You're getting pressed now by the viewers here. They're saying elaborate on what you don't like about him. Break it down with words.
Full screen.
Words.
Full screen.
Yeah, put me full. I don't care. I ain't scared. The goals that I've seen him score and a large percentage of them tend to be counter-attacks where he's got to beat one defender. He's got one move where he literally fakes it left and he cuts right and then he bangs it. So to me, Premier League people are going to look at that and go, just don't let him do that one move. And it's not like it's Robin where it's, oh, you don't know what to do about it. It's very stoppable. So I believe that the way he scores his goals, he's not going to get that many opportunities. He's not particularly dominant in the air either. So I don't think he's going to get loads of headed goals. So for me, he is going to get out just pure, oh my God, that's a striker's goal. I don't think at an absolute maximum, I'll give him 15. But if I'm going to put a number on it, I'm going to go 12. Gets 12 goals. That's it. Which is good. I think that's good. I think in the Premier League, getting 12 goals as a striker is good. But is it great? Is it 65 million? I don't think it is. That's my opinion.
I feel like I'm back in 2022 hearing Rory Jennings on that Football Saturday Social, whatever, saying Haaland won't upset the norm and he'll get 15 goals when he comes in to the Premier League. I have one question for you, David. I know you were a big Sesko fan. How many goals do you think Benjamin Sesko would have got this year if he joined Arsenal?
12.
So you think Gyokeres and Sesko would have got about the same, if not Sesko slightly more?
Yeah. I back Sesko more.
I'll have a wager with you, David.
I've got too many wagers going on, Henry.
I think Victor Gyokeres will bag minimum of 20 Premier League goals.
Minimum.
25.
Minimum. Right.
He'll get minimum of 20. The amount of chances they're going to create, he will score 20 league goals minimum.
I will give you 20 goals. However, he gets a maximum of 5 penalties.
Oh.
So once he
I'll take it. I don't know what the wager is, but I'll take it.
We'll put. Can we put a 5 on it? Because right now I'm either going to be really rich or really poor.
We'll do 20. We'll do 20 quid on it.
No, let's do something more fun. Let's do something more fun than money, right? Let's It's about wearing each other's club shirts or a forfeit here. Like we've got.
I am not wearing a Spurs shirt over an Arsenal.
We'll do a forfeit then. What we'll do is you've got to eat. You've got to eat. The loser eats on this show the world's hottest chip or something like that, or a fermented egg.
We'll do the one chip challenge.
The one chip challenge, yeah.
Come
on, I'll cover the cost of that. I'll pay for it. So you're not out of any money, but you might have to eat a hot chip.
And you can't have a glass of water.
Do you know what? Go on. I'll do it. But if he gets six penalties, he can only get 5 penalties in that total.
Do penalties? Surely it should just be 5 penalties counted. So if he scores 8, it's only 5.
If he gets 10 penalties, bro. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin got 10 penalties at Everton, I could back him to get 20 goals. That's not special.
Okay, what about if we do 18 non-penalty goals?
Fine, absolutely fine with it.
Yeah,
18 non-penalty goals.
18 non-penalty goals
in the league only.
Bearing in mind, Alexander Isak got 21 non-penalty goals.
You know, it's going to be crazy if the opening day of the season. Well, I hope it ain't the fucking opening day of the season against United, but in that first 4 or 5 games, if man's banged in 10 goals already, David's going to be shitting himself. If that happens, I think you've got to throw another caveat into the bet. He's got to play at least 30 games as well.
Yeah.
So if he does his 80th game of the season for whatever, the bet's void.
If what?
If he does his ACL like opening game of the season, obviously the bet's void.
Yeah, he's got to appear in at least 30 league games for the bet to be valid as well. But we'll do it and we'll get you both in the studio. And so there's no we can make sure there's no water, no cutting the camera off. Either one tip, and I did that on here, and I've got a hiatus hernia that nearly killed me. I thought I was going to have to go to hospital. That was fucking terrible. That was awful. We have a super chat here I want to go to. Thank you very much for the donation, bro. From Tape Fun Official. He says, let's focus on the fact that Arsenal won't be playing counter-attack football. Same way Haaland didn't score the same goals at City he was scoring at Dortmund. Great finisher with great chances created for him throughout most games. Yeah, listen, I hear you. The counter-attack thing, it is the same argument that's made against Erling Haaland, and he did it. Premier League teams counter-attack more than Portuguese teams. It's a cast-iron fact. You can see the breakdown of counter-attack opportunities and goals scored. I think we do something like 70 to 80% more in the Premier League. I also think something that Arsenal was so bad at counter-attack goals that a lot of their fans are like, yeah, but he's really good on the transition. Yes. Do you know how many counter-attack opportunities Arsenal mess up or don't score from? I think that's an area that's going to make Arsenal a better team as well. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I appreciate it. That guy is a joker. He will get 30 goals easy, is what Bermuda Guna says here. 30 league goals easy. What he says
the
here.
Same thing said about Lukaku, and I was laughed at. That's what I'm gonna say.
You did get that one right, to be fair. Is David saying Gyokeres and Havertz are the same level?
No, I think Gyokeres is a better striker, but I just don't think he suits Arsenal. I think if you'd gone to United, even if you'd gone to Liverpool, I think he would have been a lot better off. But with Arsenal, I'm just not.
With how Arsenal play, Saka creativity is one of the most creative and best wingers in the world. Yeah, you have Odegaard, he may not turn up in big games away from homes, but day in, day out, he is going to assist in open play. You bring Eze in as well. The majority of the times, Havertz got 11, 12, I think the season before, 15 in the league before. Obviously, he was injured a lot last season. The amount of fail comps because of the chances he missed. Everyone sees the missed chance of Havertz. You put Gyokeres in those positions. I think Arsenal have the facilitators, the playmakers, dead ball delivery, open play. That Gyokeres is going to get these chances. A lot of goals that I've also seen is him in the box, near post runs, peeling off. His movement in the box is exceptional. I think you were sleeping on him. Like, I'm not thinking, I'm overly scared as Liverpool fan, but I can also appreciate he's going to make a difference to this Arsenal team. They need someone to finish the ball in the box. Jesus wasn't a stone-cold finisher. Havertz wasn't a stone-cold finisher. They ain't had a stone-cold finisher for years, and they've been second. So you now put someone who has the muscle memory of putting the ball in the back of the net. You're underrating Gyokeres a lot still. Highly, but that's just mad.
I hear, mate, it's a good point there, KM. Antonio here said, David, who scores more goals next season, Nico Jackson or Gyokeres?
Gyokeres. I don't think Nico Jackson's going to play that much.
Okay. Ola here says Henry done himself. The bet was £20 with no more than 5 pence. Henry changed it to 2 pence, for fuck's sake. Typical Spurs fan. Yeah, you did do yourself. You did.
You have bottled it.
Penalty goal.
You did a trigger. You ever watch Trigger when he did a deal once with Del Boy and only pulls Norses, and Del Boy says, "I'll pay you £5," and he says 15, and then Del goes £8. He goes 12. Del goes £10, and Trigger goes 9, and Del goes deal. Yes, what you did. You went in the wrong direction. You did a trigger, mate. You did a trigger. Mark my words, Delap will outscore Gyokeres.
No.
Listen, people, viewers, get this clips. I know you can clip YouTube clips. I know you can clip YouTube videos. Get all these things clips. I'm not even saying Akil here is wrong. I'm just saying let's do some things here for posterity. Let's do some posterity here because it's not a bad shout.
They're pretty similar the way they play as well. So I don't know how someone could be so confident in Delap and not Gyokeres.
He could. I mean, the thing with Delap is, I think people are a little bit underestimating him because of maybe age and the price tag was so low. Where I think that if he didn't have that buyout clause, if 56 million is what you're getting Gyokeres for, he'd have cost somewhere nearer 50 million than 30. So the prices would have maybe made people change their minds. Uche here says David has some hateful comments with his takes on Gyokeres. If you know ball, brother, you'll see the guy will cook. If Marino in that system could score, how much more will this guy, bro, be real, bro? Is what Uche says here. That's a fair challenge. Like a DM or a midfielder score quite a lot of goals in Arsenal system. Would that not?
You know, I'd back David on this point though. Marino's like a specialist in the air. Gyokeres, you know, out of his game, Gyokeres doesn't like to play much in the air. So a lot of Marino's goals were Arsenal taking advantage of his height and of his aerial prowess. Whereas if they'd done that with Gyokeres, you wouldn't get the same level of output from him. Because he doesn't want to go in the air.
I appreciate that. Henry, I know you got to shoot, mate. I know the missus has got you under the thumb and you got to go. So enjoy it. Or is it pegging? Is it pegging tonight or tied up? What is it?
Jesus fucking Christ. Wedding bits. Right, I'll see you later, guys. Take care.
It's wedding bits code for I'm getting pegged.
Yeah, something like that.
She's getting out Malcolm. She's putting him on now.
Also, I would like to say Kai Havertz played striker for half his career and has never scored 18 Premier League goals, so you know it's not like it's out of the realm.
Chike here says send lots of love and prayers to those in Texas. What's happening in Texas?
Loads of floods.
Floods, I think.
Oh, Texas can flood. I don't know why. I would never assume Texas can flood. Yeah, absolutely massive prayers go out to everybody over there. Wayne Sage here says Inzaghi, really? He's a El Halal for a reason. Yep. Arsenal winning big this season. Hate the doubters is what Bermuda Guna says. Want to see Tom Little's reaction if Chelsea win the Club World Cup. What will your reaction to that be, Tom, and others? I mean, are you watching the tournament? Do you think it's a big achievement if Chelsea win it?
I mean, yeah, to make a lot of money. I'm just not really moved by the tournament. I didn't agree with it in terms of I felt for the players, and I think that the players weren't getting looked after in that sense. And you know, unfortunately, we've lost one of the best young players on the planet for an extended part of next season because of this tournament. That if he wasn't playing, and he might not, he probably wouldn't have got this injury. So if they win it, they win it. Look, it's probably one of them tournaments which you care a lot more about if you're in it. But right now, I don't really. I haven't really cared about it the whole way through. I watched the first game to watch Trent have a bit of a mare, and then after that, I've not really cared about the rest of it.
Is that because Trent's been really good since then?
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
He looked all right, to be fair. He looks all right, you know. He looks all right.
If they win it, I don't even know what they've got next. Are they playing like a Brazilian side next?
You've got Fluminense tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't even know where they are in Brazil. I don't know where they are on the table. So I have literally no idea. Thiago Silva's the captain.
Yeah, João Pedro he's their first club. Is his first club.
Oh, brilliant. So, look, it is what it is. I'm sure Chelsea fans can celebrate if they win it. I know they get a lot of money for it. So, yeah, good for them.
Nick here says, Chelsea fans want to win, but realistic to say we are not good enough yet, too young and not enough leaders yet. Third trophy in a Champions League run. Give the Champions League take the Champions League over the Prem. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a train of thought they've got maybe more, especially in the Club World Cup. I mean, it will definitely give these players hope they can go on, because to win it, you're either gonna have to beat Real Madrid or PSG in the final now, and if you do that, it will give Chelsea hope of being able to win the Champions League. This here says, hey Henry, you like fruit, we got Gyokeres, how'd you like them apples? Up the Arsenal. Now I heard that saying in Good Will Hunting, and I'll be honest with you, I still don't get it. I still don't get the saying. Maybe I've got to Google it, make me understand it. Terry, what signings do Arsenal need to complete before other clubs are going to finally give us a bit of respect? Rare even take your take and the panels as well. Arsenal fan from Iceland. I'll be honest with you, I think for people that don't, Arsenal fans who hate Arteta and KSE and rivals that legitimately despise Arsenal or your online fan base, I think there's very little you can do for them to go, do you know what? I think what you'd actually have to do is win the Premier League, maybe even the Champions League at the same time, play brilliant football, get massive points. You'd have to do something so astronomical to not get stick. If you win the Prem next year, I want to brace you for it. It will move on to, it took 6 years and nearly £1 billion. Ridiculous. The criticism will move on. People that don't like you are never going to like you. I see it in what I do. Just me as a YouTuber. Doesn't matter. I did a few videos last week, and I did them all for the right reasons. And most of the feedback was lovely. And it was covering really tough topics, from Jota to Partey to other things. Most people were like, do you know what? I've got a lot of don't normally like you, but that was really nice and sentimental. Don't really like you, that's really sensible, level-headed, etc. But my actual haters, scum, prick, bastard, doesn't matter what I do, they're always going to hate me. I'm at peace with it. I love the fact they tune into my video still and make me money. Thank you. The best way haters could actually hurt you is by not watching your shit. Like, that's the funniest part about all of it. But yeah, you're never going to get you're never going to get that from people that dislike you, brother, ever. Never going to happen. What's your top 4 prediction as of now? Oof.
You said it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, we went for it a little bit earlier in the show. I think most people right now have got Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. I don't know if anybody on this panel would make it any different. No one else has done anything yet, really.
I'd be interested in Newcastle potentially if they're able to actually get some business done. But outside of that, it's not really anyone else that I'm looking at. Like, I'm not looking at Tottenham or Villa and going, oh, they're going to upset the status quo.
They're not doing anything right now. Some breaking news earlier on this evening that came out from Simon Phillips is that Arsenal are around £10 million away from Chelsea's valuation of Madueke. Now, Simon Phillips is fairly credible when it comes to Chelsea. He often, very, very credible guy, knows what's going on. That sounds, KM, like Arsenal and Chelsea are getting close to at least a financial agreement on the player. Thoughts?
I think eventually it'll get over the line. Chelsea, I guess, they have a surplus of attackers right now that they are probably trying to offload from. Sterling still on the books. Obviously, you have the Nkunkus. Like, you have a whole list of strikers, your Jacksons, your Delaps, your João Pedros, Giri. Who else they're going to offload? I think Arsenal eventually will probably get over the line. They obviously like a little cut price, even with Sporting. If they can get Gyokeres for 56 M's, when the Sporting president and director came out saying, I don't care what that release clause was, I don't care what promise you had, you're not getting him for less than 75 or 100 million euros. So them being able to get the price under, I think is not bad. I know Fabrizio reported that personal terms is already agreed, and that's usually the first thing that's done a lot of that time to make sure that player's interest is there first. But Arsenal will probably get Madueke over the line. I think it's a good squad player. I'm not in the outrage of Arsenal fans, but I do know if I was a Liverpool player and I heard that we were bidding for Madueke, I may feel a bit different. But yeah, hopefully they can get over the line. If they get Eze and Rodrigo as well, I think the only thing that will really spin the Arsenal fans is if it is Madueke, and that's just the sole winger they get. Eze obviously can play wing, but he's not specifically there. But if they don't get a Rodrigo or anyone, obviously there was talk Nico before he signed the deal at Bilbao. There was Leao on the block right now. He hasn't signed. I know they spoke about Chelsea, but Chelsea wouldn't have battled get him. So if it's just Noni, yeah, I know what DA and other Arsenal fans are gonna feel like. So right now I'm comfortable looking at it from the outside in.
I can't believe this is actually still happening. I thought it was just like one of them stupid joke articles, and now we're talking about Madueke going to Arsenal. I mean, I do have to wonder, what sort of rivalry is it where you buy a player from your rival club 7 out of 8 years? Like 7 out of the last 8 years, Arsenal bought someone from Chelsea.
And you're not even stealing their best player.
But it's not even like anyone good.
Yeah, you're not stealing their best. You're not doing Van Persie or Fabregas when they're taking your best players. The call.
If you compare like the list of players taken, it's like out of that entire list, Ashley Cole is the best one, and he went from Arsenal to Chelsea. The second best one out of the entire list is probably Olivier Giroud, who also went from Arsenal to Chelsea. The rest of them were all Chelsea backups and Chelsea players who they wanted to have anyway going to Arsenal and not doing much at Arsenal. Why do Arsenal continue to buy players from Chelsea? Why?
It just sums us up.
Madueke is another one. But Bukayo Saka, if he stays fit, is not going to be dropped. We've seen what Mikel Arteta does with Bukayo Saka. Yeah. He does not rest that man if he's fit. So Madueke, you're spending £50 million on someone who you actually in turn only need a £20 million player for that job. You need a guy to play cup games, to come on for 20 minutes. You don't need to spend 50 million quid on someone who, one of the selling points for why he's going to cost so much money is, he could develop. If he's going to develop, he needs to play, but he's not going to play because you're going to play Saka there and you're trying to buy a left winger. So it blows my mind. It doesn't make sense.
No, but apparently Arteta wants to play him on the left as well.
He can play left.
Apparently he wants to play him on the left as well. And I've watched some Noni come from the left. No. It's
long. It's long.
Noni's a tough watch. Noni is a tough watch in his actual position. I don't want to watch him try out of position.
He's got one foot. God. He does not use his left foot at all. So playing. I don't even think he's that bad of a player.
Yeah, I don't think he's that bad of a player, but he's a good player for like a Spurs, a West Ham, not for where we're trying to be. I'm sorry. Like I don't see why we're going to spend 50 million on him. It's a joke.
And what's great is that when you eventually play 45 plus 5, which is probably what the deal will be, you're going to help me get rid of a player who I want him to go to Arsenal, not particularly because there is a chance he could become very good. However, for 50 mil, for what I can get, have him and enjoy. I hope he has a great time. But I'm not going to lose sleep over selling Noni for 50 mil when I bought him for 28. For me, that's good business. It's good business.
That's very good business.
Yeah, it is good business for you. I think the price is key, and I say that when you're buying really good players. I say it when you're buying backup players. It's Arteta and Berta are seeing something that I'm not. I think he's a good. What I do think is shameless, though, David, and I don't put you in this category, are Chelsea fans like our brother Don, who have bigged him up and defended Noni at every single stage for like 2 years, and now we're like, "Wait, Arsenal, you're getting a shitter." It's like, fucking hell. It's just the flipping is quick, bruv. They flip like it's a Rico case, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's straight up like, yeah, I'll flip, I'll take everything, I'll wear a wire, bruv. I'll wear a wire. I'll do whatever it takes.
I think he is a good player, but I just if my club went and dropped 50 mil on him, I'd be annoyed, especially when one, I've got holes, and two, it's from my rivals who every time we sign from them, it don't go well. History just says it's not going to go well. So
how do you feel on the other side of that? And we'll come back to some super chats in a minute, David. How do you feel on the other side of that, where looks like Chelsea are being rejected for Tottenham for Mohammed Kudus?
It's peak, because he definitely would have been an improvement. I'm still not overly convinced that it's over. Again, Tottenham are in the driving seat, and fair play to them, but something about these transfers. I've seen here we goes to Liverpool and here we goes to Spurs, and they've ended up in a blue shirt. So I think there's still a bit of a chance. But if we don't, I'm sure our scouting department will find another person who can fill up that role. Because again, we were linked to Malik.
So a big update has just dropped in relation to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. A big update. Newcastle are actually interested in him, but they're not willing to pay his salary as of late, according to Ben Jacobs. So Newcastle or another club looking at him as a potential striker. Interesting. I didn't think. Why clubs? I don't get it. I don't get it.
No,
I don't understand.
He has a role. He does have a role. He can, in the 80th minute, sit in the box. He can do that.
Mama Flossie is a Newcastle fan. Don't agree, but yeah. So so you think who else thinks the Kudus race is over, or could there still be a sting in the tail from Chelsea to hurt Spurs?
I think
you can't rule out Chelsea. There's been too many recently where they just swoop in at the last minute, but for some reason this one just seems like he, for whatever reason, wants Tottenham. So I think he might just go there.
What are you saying, KM?
I think obviously Liverpool fans, we know what it feels like to be hit by the Chelsea bullet, but yeah, it seems all the reports, obviously Fab reported that Kudus only wants Tottenham, so very credible, sort of gone by that, and Spurs have Champions League football, and to be fair, he's more nailed on to play more game time at Spurs than Chelsea. If it's about the lifestyle, it's both London. If it's about the money, I'm probably sure it's similar. Obviously, Chelsea now have their wage structure in place. He's got Champions League football, same as Chelsea. So if it's in that case, and game time, obviously also ahead of a World Cup year, which is obviously huge for everyone as well. Not that he's ever going to get dropped Kudus on the international stage, but I'd assume Spurs can get that over the line, and he'll probably be a key player in that team rather than just one of the many moving parts at Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea just never out the race, are they? That's the thing. They're never out of a race for a player that they really, really want to sign. Viewers, give us your thoughts and your opinions on that in the comment section below. It might be 40 million plus one. Can you imagine? I can't believe they did that, but there you go. Just chill on Noni. We don't know what Berta is planning. Well, this is also it. I mean, you guys, it's just been said now again from Miguel Delaney that more details on why you've gone for Gyokeres over Šeško, and it's because Leipzig wouldn't budge on the price. It kept them pushing the price up and up and up. And it's crazy to think you had like basically a 50 million deal struck last year, but the player wanted to stay for another year. Now they're asking for around 80 million, and Arsenal were just saying no. It's a message to players as well. Like, this is why more and more players, and I'm not advocating for what Trent did, but it's why people do what they did. Because he said, do you know what? I'm going to stay one more year, give you another year of development, then I'll go. Yep, cool, similar price next year. Now they're asking for 30 million more in his dream club, saying that, like, he's walking away. It's a message to players, man. Sometimes in life, you got to strike while that iron is hot, you know. You got to strike while the iron is hot. Ricky here says, we all thought Raya was a bad idea. We all loved Ramsdale, yet we are all proven wrong. The due diligence has obviously been done. In all honesty, what do we know? We are fans, not experts. What do you make, DA, and a panel on this? Because a lot of Arsenal fans are reluctant to believe that, for instance, Eze coming in could potentially put Odegaard on the bench. Do you think that's right? Because Arteta wouldn't drop him, or do you think, no, actually, if he plays well, there's a chance the captain could be out of the team? Or they could play both at the same time. I mean, what do you make of it?
I think, yeah, like if Odegaard isn't good enough, he should be dropped. I think no one's bigger than the team, and that there is a chance they can play together. And it's just like, if you perform, you play. It's as simple as that for me. I don't really have any favorites. Like, even if Saka wasn't performing, bring Nwaneri in. Like, if you're performing well, you should play. That's it for me, really. Like, I don't really do the favorites thing. So if Odegaard was performing, I wouldn't be calling for him to be hold the bench or come off. But at times last season, it felt like he was just getting worse and worse, and Arteta wasn't taking him off. So that's how I feel in regards to Odegaard and starting certain players. But Madueke could come to Arsenal and do well, but I just don't think, for the price being quoted, it's a good allocation of funds for a backup, because he's not a starting left winger and he's not a starting right winger.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. This is crazy. Pardew claimed on TalkSport that there's not much difference between Gyokeres and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, David, you can't even believe this.
No, that's thick. That's really thick, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not good at football. A footballer who's not good with his feet is yeah. Okay. So,
I mean, all I'd say is that one of them got 97 goals in the last 2 seasons. The other one got 11. So what's that? 80 odd or 79 goal difference between them or something? That's the difference between them. One of them got 3 goals last year. The other one got 52. One of them got released from Everton. The other one is moving for 60 million quid. This obsession that the media has sometimes with mid-level English strikers blows my mind. They would have actually believed in like 2020, 2021 that Calvert-Lewin and Callum Wilson were like 2 of the best strikers in Europe because they put together 15 goal seasons. And why are they not letting Calvert-Lewin's crap? Everton fans didn't like him at the end. The most memorable thing related to Calvert-Lewin in the past 2 seasons has been that Everton fan on a space going, our striker wears knickers and bras. That's about the only relevant thing Calvert-Lewin's had in the past 2 years. He hasn't had the moments on the pitch. He hasn't had the goals. He's not been consistently available enough. So I don't know why we're putting him in these conversations with strikers who were challenging Mbappe and Salah last season for European Golden Boot. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense on any level. It's no wonder Alan Pardew's no longer employed. Gyokeres needs a pre-season so he can acclimatise. I think that's why it's important for Arsenal to get this deal done now. The pre-season's begun. The first week isn't overly important. The first 2 weeks really is tests and fitness work. But once you start getting into the nitty-gritty, the tactics, the formations, the pre-season tour, the games, it's going to be so important, because the one thing I'd say about Liverpool and Arsenal is they both have got a slight advantage over Chelsea and City, that they've not had a disrupted summer. They can get a good pre-season with, the fact that Arsenal have got Norgard in, the keeper, Zubimendi's there, Gyokeres. I wouldn't bet against either Madueke or Eze, maybe both, even being there in the next, week to 10 days as well. Having them all in for pre-season could be massive for next season. It really, really could. Suddenly Trent's performing and Tom Little is quiet. Yeah, this is true.
I haven't been watching his games. I didn't know he was playing well.
A lot of Moreno's goals were tap-ins, not just headers. This is true. On Liverpool, obviously got two Liverpool fans on the show with us. Big news today that Luis Diaz has told Bayern Munich that he wants to leave Liverpool and he wants to go to Germany. How big a blow is this to your sort of summer plans and going into next season, considering that what was updated to us only a week or so ago is that Liverpool don't want to sell him?
I think that update was always a bit of a sort of lie, in a sense of it wasn't that we didn't want to sell him, we just didn't want to let it be known that we wanted to sell him so we could try and get as much money as possible. I think that I kind of knew he was available for sale when it came out that we wouldn't mind him staying, but we're not going to give him a new contract and he's got 2 years left. That kind of, to me, told me, yeah, they want him gone, but they don't want to tank his value. Obviously, the tragic Jota stuff might change situation at the football club in terms of the attackers, but if he wants to go, there's no point in keeping him around. I don't want to have players at the football club who don't want to be here. If he wants to go. There are left wings that you can buy in the market. There are forwards that you can buy in the market for the 70.5 million that they want to pay. That either are an improvement on him already, because I don't think Luis Diaz is the best left winger in the world, or could be an improvement on him within a year or two, and we have the option of Gakpo to be immediate top option. So, well, if I get 70 million quid for him, and I can go buy a Leao, or I can go buy a Malik Fofana with an eye on 2 years' time, or even if I can go sell Luis Diaz and then throw our hat in the ring in the Rodrigo situation, I'm not wholeheartedly against that. I do think Diaz is the more replaceable out of the 2 left wingers that we've got, and his situation always made him a bit more replaceable.
I think I like Luis Diaz. I think a lot of people have talked about him being a nearly man, and then he had the injury at the ACL, so he's out a bit. I think, like Tom touched on, obviously with the loss of Jota, and a lot of the time, Slot did like him up front, because if Jota was out injured or Núñez wasn't firing, he played a lot of minutes through the middle. And Núñez being our only recognised number 9 right now, and I know people touch about maybe Verts playing as a false 9, which I don't think he will. I think his best position will be slightly in behind the striker or playing kind of off the left. I don't think it's as easy to be able to sell Luis Diaz. I think of the case of Chiesa's injury prone as well. Núñez doesn't fire. I think up top we are potentially pretty light right now. And last season he got 12 goals in the league. That's the same as Liam Delap that went for how much to Chelsea. That's more than all Arsenal for. That's more than Nicholas Jackson. So, and that's a left winger who's still putting the ball in the back of the net. So if we do sell him, which I probably wouldn't want to, even though he is on about, I think, 55k a week, and like it was mentioned, we're not looking to renew his contract. Naturally, yeah, he is gonna want to move on to whether it is Bayern or Barcelona. I would like to keep him, but if it's a case about selling him, I definitely think that Rodrigo, while he's still there, he's not being played. There was obviously reports, I think, the last couple of nights that maybe PSG are looking at Rodrigo. Obviously, Arsenal's long-standing interest. If it's a case of we are selling Luis Diaz, it does need to be a verified forward that we get in return.
If you're going to sell him, you've got to run up that price as much as you can. Because
and I think so. Obviously, he's not the best left wing in the world, but he's not the worst by any stretch of the imagination. He's probably in that top 5 realm because obviously I think
what? Huh? Top 5?
Left. I'm going to ask you to name me 5 left wingers categorically better than Diaz, and you're not going to be able to name me any.
I'll be honest, I don't even have Diaz as the best left wing at the football club, so I wouldn't have much of a problem doing that.
Gakpo's up there as well, but the left wingers that are out there, people even torn between Leao. Like, I love Leao, but people be like, on his days, inconsistent. Like, actual verified left wingers, how many great left wingers are there in the Premier League? There's not many great left wingers in the Premier League. There's not great in the world.
Like
so replacing this Diaz, that's why he can go for that 70 mil. That's why Barca have approached.
You got to take that money for a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
And you can reinvest that money into potentially a better player in whoever, like a Rodrigo or a Leao. I don't know who you're going for, but you can reinvest that money wisely. It makes sense to sell
we missed the opportunity in January with Kvaratskhelia. We should have actually pushed really hard for Kvaratskhelia. That was the one that you missed, because I think there was always a sense of this was coming with Diaz. Kvaratskhelia is by far and away, in my opinion, the best left winger in the world. Then you've got your Viniciuses and your Rafinhas, if you want to count him. Rodrigo was a very good left winger when he gets to play there. Barcola, I thought, had a really good year last year as well. Leao, obviously, I think Leao's situation is just a case of, if I'm looking at Diaz is inconsistent in a good team. Leao's inconsistent in a bad team. So what am I going to do when I translate him to the good team? I'm going to get more consistency, because if I get more consistency out of Leao and I can get him back to the levels that he showed the year that AC Milan won the title, the last time they were a consistent side, then all of a sudden I'm talking about one of the top 2 left wingers on the planet. So I'm willing to take that gamble on Rafa Leao. Ultimately, though, there is the world where the club look at it and go, well, we don't need to buy this instant better now solution. We've got Cody Gakpo, who is 26, about to enter his prime years. We can afford to bring in a younger guy who's 22, 23, a couple of years away, just needs a bit of development in the right environment with some good senior pros around him, so that when in 2-3 years' time, when it might be time for Gakpo to move on or whatever, we've got the guy ready to step in then and you start that cycle over again. We've got options to do it, and 70 million quid gives you a lot of spending power to do it with. It's just, it'd be a little bit easier for us as someone with certain things that we need to get done if we were able to keep him around.
But with kind of what FSG has done this window, Mark Edwards, give them the benefit of the doubt. For now, if you're going to sell Diaz, I'm going to very much assume you have a credible and suitable replacement for our aims and aspirations for the season. So, yeah, it'll be a miss, but it's not catastrophic.
Also, did you see the news today about Konate as well? It looks like he's definitely going to go to Real Madrid.
Konate, yeah, I love Konate, and to be fair to him, even when early on in the season it spoke about that we were close in extending his contract in like November, he came out just after during, I think, the Nations League period and said, "Don't believe what you see in it. I'll come and speak." And he didn't speak on it he's not spoken on anything directly with it. I don't know if it's a case of a bit of deja vu with Trent, but I'm going to give him that benefit of the doubt. Obviously, Virgil signed again, salary signed, and him seeing the money we're spending on Verts and all these players. I don't know if it's a case of, again, that Madrid cachet is just different. A lot of these players, if it's not Madrid or Barcelona, those are the teams you dreamed about playing when you were younger. But I saw the reports about Konate. I'm hoping that we can still get that contract signed, but I'd take a Konate contract renewal over a left winger signing. Like, I think Konate is very, very important, especially if we're thinking Verge has 2 years, 3 years left at this top level and naturally to pass those reins. Getting Konate signed and suited for our future to carry on that strong span is critical, especially with the covering you have to do with that right-hand side. I think if Frimpong's starting, Frimpong isn't the most defensively sound right back, and a lot of the work Konate does is covering into that channel. I think he's not just a plug-in player. Like, his role in our team and our back line is crucial. So praying he extends, but if it's to Madrid again,
I wish Real Madrid would do one. I am sick to death of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Go bully someone else's club. Go take Arsenal's players or City. It's always us.
All I'm saying is that you are one of the only clubs that lets all your best players end up with 1 year left on their contracts, and then Real Madrid are like, "Yo, do you fancy popping right?" Because I know they can't do that with my players; they're all on death row. So
no one wants players.
No one wants Cole at the back of Real Madrid.
Yeah,
bro.
no one's Cole.
Wait, you're on the stage, man. You're on the stage.
That's not silly.
The Honda dealership is safe. Don't worry. The entire dealership is safe.
Let's not be
and Disassi.
Let's not be fair. Let's not be Cole Palmer's still on my team. If they wanted Cole Palmer, they'd have to give me 200 mil. Kudus is the best left back in the Prem. So let's not act like I ain't got players on my side. Let's not act like
he just fouls people. It's gone too far. He just fouls people.
We're talking about Real Madrid and Mark Cucurella in the same sentence here.
Yeah, what Cucurella, the starting left back that won the Euros for that country, and you're gonna act like, come on, let's not be silly.
I will act like that.
Let's not be silly here. Let's not be silly here. Let's not. Come on.
Yeah, literally, best left back in the Prem. Why you not?
Cole Palmer, 200 million. Caicedo, Andre Santos, your fan base love it. You lot should be challenging, innit?
No, because I've got Sanchez in goal. I wanted to say something, but it's the wrong day for it. But I've got Sanchez in net. I think
you said his name then like it was an insult. You
said
Sanchez's name like it was an insult.
I was going to say something. I was going to
Sanchez.
I've got Sanchez in. I've got Sanchez in net. That alone, he could kick it in his own net, and none of you would be surprised. That alone is its own issue. Okay, so let's not act like I've not got my own problems. My striker is
like don't save you a lot of the time as well.
He's not proven, but you're acting like I don't have players. I've got players. Otherwise, none of you would be saying I should be in a title race. So let's not act like it's. I've got Enzo Fernandez. You don't think Real Madrid would want to have a go at Enzo Fernandez? Come on,
no,
let's not mess around. Let's not mess around. But yeah, let Konate go for free again. Is Konate allowed to play this season, or does he have to say that he's not, and then he's got to sit on the bench? What's the rules?
I got no problem playing Konate this season.
I just want to know the rules. Because of his birthplace.
Konate wasn't born in West Derby and didn't, for the first 5 years of his career, make out that he wanted to stay at Liverpool for the entire time.
Konate didn't have an Everton shirt on when he was 7 years old. Okay, now I see.
Yeah. Ultimately, for us, our plan, my mindset for the next 2 years changed when Salah and Van Dijk signed 2-year extensions, and it very much became a case of we need to maximize what we can achieve in 2026 and 2027. Now, ultimately, if I was to sell Konate this summer, I'm getting cut price for him. I'm not getting what he's worth. I'm not getting the 80 million. I'll be getting 40, maybe 45. And again, that might not even happen because Real Madrid and PSG, the two clubs that you'd probably go to, they might just sit there and go, nah, we'll wait. So we wouldn't even get the money. So in that case, I'm looking at it going, what centre-back can I buy? So obviously there's still a Marquee stuff potentially going on in the background. He should be coming in as the third choice option, the rotation piece. What centre-back am I going to buy for 40 million quid that is better than Konate? None. I'm not going to do that. So I look at it then going, do I sell Konate for the 40 million quid, buy in a cheap young backup and play Marquee for the whole season, hope that it works out? Or do I just run Konate for another year? If he goes, he goes. It's stupid. We need to nip it in the fucking bud, all these players going on free, because it's not very self-sustainable. But you do it one last time with Konate, nip it in the bud at that point, and then next summer, Hopefully, you get all your business done that you need to get done this summer. So next summer, you can spend the budget on that centre-back to replace him if it comes to it. And keeping him means you do give yourself the option or the potential to get him to sign that new deal, because you know how these players' minds change. But we need to maximise what we can do across the next 2 years. Ibu Konate for 1 year is better than £40 million young centre-back for 2.
I hear that. This here says for all discussing just Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, Norgard, people are forgetting Mikel Merino, the makeshift striker Arsenal had is a midfielder too. That is true. That is true.
Not good.
He wasn't great in midfield, though. I will be honest. I wasn't exactly
clunky, slow, turns like a truck. No.
On that list, 2 of them are bad and 2 of them are all right.
Regarding the price of a backup, we want less of a drop off when they play. So bring is what Joshua Maynard says here. Interesting. Is that Josh? Is that about Noni Madueke? Let me know. This here says, who has the best front line going into next season? I suppose as it stands.
Front line with Mo Salah, innit?
I mean, we're looking at that. Our front line's the most up in the air at the minute for the multitude of reasons. You know, as it stands, I've only got 2 guys set in position. That's Wirtz in the 10 and Salah on the right. I have no idea who's going to be the starter.
So are you counting the 10? I was counting just the front 3s.
I think that the 10s part.
Okay, we'll do the 10s.
It's part of that.
I think with Cunha and Mbeumo, we're there, bro. Because why did you guys? I don't mean it.
Well, with DCL and Xerxes rotating up top and total of 11 goals.
If you get Mbeumo over the line, that's a very good signing. Like, it just depends on your 9. If you get another one,
listen, United got a chance on paper of being in that conversation, but we need a good number 9. But do you know what? Because of Mo Salah, he's there. I mean, Newcastle were in this conversation as well with Isak, but with Arsenal with Saka and Gyokeres, we're doing this all on paper. So how it will look next season. What's been signed with Odegaard? I'm still going with Liverpool. I'm still going with Liverpool just. But if Arsenal go and add like Eze and Rodrigo on paper, it's Arsenal's. You know, it is.
I'll be honest. I think City's is better than Arsenal's.
Well, if you have Shirky in the 10,
Shirky, yeah, I suppose, yeah, Shirky.
I'm not just looking at the starting 11. I'm looking at the options that they've got as a whole.
Good
so
shout.
like, they can play it in 2 different ways. They can play Savio and Doku, which is we don't want you trying to put it in the net, but just beat your fullback and put it in the box, and then they can play Foden and Marmoush when they want the wide players to have a little bit more of a goal output. So I think that one's got the flexibility. I think Liverpool's is the most up in the air, but it's got the 2 best. This like it's got the potentially the strongest combination in Salah and Wirtz, and you know we've got Gakpo, who I'm 99% sure is staying. So I've got a left winger there who I like and can get me close to 20 goals. It's just if I get a good striker in, so I'm going to say Osimhen just for argument's sake. If I get Osimhen in, undoubtedly us, because I think you've got all the makings out of the top front 3. If I'm running back next season with Darwin Núñez up front because we couldn't sell him, yeah. I might have to give the edge to someone else.
I don't know if Salah right, Gakpo left and Diaz through the middle. For me, I didn't mind him last year.
I mean, I'm just going on the basis that Diaz has gone. Yeah. I think Diaz is going. I think there's too much around him going. So I just went with that basis of he's going to go.
I'm going. I think the order currently is Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea.
What's your front 3? What would you say it is? Like,
hold on. How Chelsea dragged themselves into this conversation?
Newcastle are a better front 3 than Chelsea. That's a fact.
I'm not taking the Chelsea one over the Nottingham Forest one. And I'm deadly serious.
The Nottingham, allow it. See, this is what I mean.
What's your one? What's your one? What's your? We're talking.
What's your best front 3?
Have a word.
What's your best front 3?
It'd be Delap, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, Jamie Gittins.
Get off the stage.
And you're trying to make out that me saying, you know what? I think that Morgan Gibbs-White, Anthony Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Chris Wood isn't a front 4 that's on that level.
That is not on the same level at all.
100%. Chris Wood outscored the last year.
Right. Elanga is mid. Hudson-Odoi is less than mid. Gibbs White is good, and Chris Wood had 1 season. No one's talking about Chris Wood. I'm the biggest supporter of Chris Wood on this panel, and this is stupid. What are we doing?
Will Delap score as many goals as Chris Wood scored last season?
Chris Wood will not. Again, is Chris Wood getting more than 15 goals this year? Let's be serious.
He got 18-20 last year.
Is he going to do it again? Is he going to do it again? Tell me now with chest he's going to do it again. Because I'll tell you now.
He's done it. I ain't seen Delap do that. I ain't seen Jackson do that. Pedro Neto for a whole season. I ain't seen has Pedro Neto ever got double-digit goals or assists in any Premier League season. Elanga and Cho have been more goals and assists this season than Pedro Neto. Cole Palmer went how long without any contribution? I'm just saying, scoffing at Forest that it was last day of the season.
Cole Palmer is a top 3 Premier League player, top 5 Premier League player. That's better than anything Forest has got. Confident, like
but it's not a front 1; it's a front 4.
You
have the better player, but I would take their front 4 as a collective.
This is a joke. This is a joke.
You don't think Forest? Okay, maybe not Forest.
But Joy got 5 goals and 2 assists, but he's amazing.
How many goals did Pedro Neto get? I want to see that stat. That's the stat I want to see.
What would you? Look it up
Pedro
right
Neto
now.
goals in the Premier League.
Because Pedro Neto has never scored 10 goals in the Prem. Never.
Pedro Neto got 4 goals and 6 assists.
So Callum Hudson's got more.
Allow it. This is
4 goals and 6 assists.
He got 4 goals and 6 assists.
That's awful.
No, I'm not saying it's good.
You're focusing on the Hudson-Odoi one. So Anthony Elanga got 6 goals, 11 assists last season. That's 17 goal contributions.
Tom. Is Elanga going to do it again? Please tell me.
I think he can get 15 GA again.
Do you believe Elanga is actually a good footballer? Please tell me.
I think he's a decent winger.
He's going to play better. Yeah, Newcastle did what, like 50, 55 M?
Honestly, Dave, hand on heart, you're asking me for a full season, which winger setup do I want? Hudson-Odoi and Elanga over Gittins and Pedro Neto, I'm telling you. I'll give you the 10. Even though Morgan Gibbs White is an incredible number 10, I'll give you the 10 because it's Cole Palmer. Up front, who would I have for a full season? Liam Delap, a lot of potential there, still a little bit raw. Maybe he's going to boom, maybe he's going to struggle. Or Chris Wood, reliable, 10 to 15 goals a season, Chris Wood. That's what I love. Reliable.
Absolute. This is blasphemy. But
like, if I genuinely pull the Premier League table right now,
I'm meant to be in the title race, but I'm worse than Forest. Cool. I just want it known. I just want it known.
Genuinely, if I go look at this Bournemouth front 4, am I more moved by the Bournemouth front 4?
I like the menu.
Justin Cliver.
Hey, Justin Cliver, one player of the month at one point last year.
And Evan Nielsen. Okay. No, it's fine. No, I'm here. I'm here. Don't worry. But
Bournemouth
when my team does better than all of these, I just want it known. I just want it known. Somehow Forest, Nottingham Forest.
What about that Villa front line as well? That Villa front line's good, you know. Although they have lost a couple of pieces to it now, and they haven't necessarily replaced them. I'd probably still give the edge to the Villa front line. I've got Chelsea's front line about 7th or 8th. The midfield is the midfield is like top 2, top 3. That's 100% the best point of the squad, and that can win them a lot of games. The front line as a whole, though, outside of Cole Palmer, I'm not moved by it. Your defence, outside of the fullbacks, I'm not moved by it. Your goalkeeper is Robert Sanchez. I don't need to say any more than that. I'm not moved by certain pieces. You've got a lot of good individual players, but as a front 4, yeah, I'd rather have a Newcastle front 4. I'd rather have a Liverpool, a City, and Arsenal. And I think there's arguments to be made for your Villas and your Nottingham Forest of this world.
Worse than Jacob Murphy. Please.
Oh, do not chat about Jacob Murphy. Like Jacob Murphy had a really good season last year.
Is he going to do it, Tom? Is he going to do it again? It's my question.
Jacob Murphy got 20 GA last year.
Do you believe in Jacob Murphy?
I do. I believe Jacob Murphy can be a consistent 15 to 20 GA player.
Again. Tom, I will do a hot chip challenge with you with Jacob Murphy if you believe it so much. I believe. I'll do 2 of them.
I'm not like Henry. Like I don't make bets like that. But all I'm saying is,
hang on. Sorry. Interesting update here. I haven't verified this. It's just getting by a viewer's comment. But supposedly, according to David Ornstein, there's been no talks between Arsenal and Chelsea for Noni Madueke.
We've been lied to the whole time.
Putting that out there. Sorry to jump into that great debate. Yeah. Listen, Tom's trolling you guys there. Tom's trolling you.
I'm
guys.
deadly serious. I'm deadly serious. By the way, with the Nottingham Forest one.
Trolling.
No,
Nottingham Forest and Villa have better front fours than Chelsea. Stand by it.
Cool.
There we go. Look, listen, I want to thank every single person who has tuned into the show today. Sorry, Ricky here just says United's only hope is Amorim miracle this season. Listen, you could end up being right. You know, my haters won't hear that bit. You could end up being right, but I'm just not panicking at this moment in time. And that's not anything. Maybe that's just the way I am as an individual. You stay cool until I suppose you got to look at it this way. Like some people are just better in bad situations. My mind's prepared for it going wrong, and maybe that's why I'm not frustrated now. Maybe some people expected it to be so much better than it is, but we will see. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in, all of our super chatters, everyone who's subscribed. Boys, thank you all for coming on. It's good to see yourself, KM and DA, again from the tap in. It's the tap in. I'm going to get it wrong. Sorry, I'm
the tap in merchants.
The tap in merchants. That's it. Kay just told me it was the Tap In podcast, and I was like, I swear it's something else. But yeah, the Tap In Merchants. Go check out their channel. Big up Tom Little and David for being on. We're back tomorrow with more. Well, what's happened here? There's been an update. Oh, no, fuck off. It's nothing to do with any of us. To do with Napoli and Osimhen and fuck you. Yeah, we're back tomorrow with more content, including myself and Mark Goldbridge at 11 a.m. UK time. We're live here for Hot Take. Plus, a new addition to Straight Facts. We've got Aaron Talks Arsenal and Lewis on Straight Facts in the afternoon tomorrow as well. Before you leave, get the like button smashed. Let's get over 1,000 likes whilst we're live, please. Let's get that done. I want to thank all of our new members. This is also going to redirect you to Hassam's channel for, I think it's A-listers tonight. So get yourselves across there. Go and support my brother on his channel. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.